At the beginning of the year, I set goals concerning my spiritual growth, financial goals, and family life. I have to admit, setting goals has always been so hard for me, but also very exciting, but just mostly daunting because I never really know where to start. Maybe it's because I have too many interests and can't choose which to prioritize. Maybe because I'm such a dreamer and absolutely refuse to be a realist. Sometimes I put only one thing on paper as a goal for the year, such as visiting France to find love. I know, right? It's crazy. And then I'm like, wait, but I can't leave out other things, such as health goals, business goals, etc. Because adulting has shown me that if you're not intentional about progress in your life, it will stay as it is. In the words of Mel Robbins, no one's coming. So here, my friends, is an account of how I fared in the 3 areas that I set goals in and ways in which I'm expanding them. Spiritually, I just said I want to be intimate with God, but I didn't set specific steps on how to do that. Sure, there's the obvious, reading God's word and spending time in prayer, but I didn't allocate specific time for that. And I found that something that wasn't planned will hardly get done. Autopilot mode doesn't really work if you want progress. And then I also figure that YouTube seems to compete with my God time. But check this, there's a week I created timestamps for YouTube video making and editing, and for devotion time with God, and for sleeping, because with YouTube you can get so carried away that you end up sleeping so late. In that week, I got some Bible time in and made progress in feeding my spirit and was really pleased with it. So now I know that in the next quarter of the year, I need to keep it up. When it comes to family life, for the first quarter, I had planned to visit my hometown to visit my grandma. Oh, really? Oh my gosh. I love you so much. You're the best. You're the best grandma. Like the best grandma ever. You're the best. The best. The best grandma. Best grandma. Best. Best.
Enough. Enough.
Tudo que ficou foi uma poesia e o eterno amor dessa alma vazia, com tantos passos para não cair.
My financial goal for this year, for the first part of the year, was to save, mostly save, because I want to buy filming equipment, UZ. So what I did was to save first and then spend the rest. See, because I find that I'm a very impulsive spender. So if I don't do that, I'm gonna spend everything and haphazardly. So I know myself better, and I know that it's best for me to do that. And it's a principle that I read about in various books, that you need to pay yourself first. So that's what I have been doing, and it's been working really well for me. And the other thing that made this possible was the where I saved my money. I have been saving my money in what they call an F&B FlexiFix account. Now this is an account that is available here in Botswana, and I believe in other parts of Africa, I think. It's where you allow the bank to fix your money for 6 months or up to a year or even more, and you cannot access your money during this time. The only time that you're able to access it is if you're in an emergency and you apply for it and they give you a percentage, and sometimes it's at a fee. Sometimes they downright refuse to give you the money. So I find that works really well for me, and that's how I managed to reach my saving goals. The only thing I want to now work on is saving towards my emergency fund. That's the one thing that I've been lagging behind on lately. So I want to, resuscitate it, because it's a really, really good thing to have just to have as a hedge for serious emergencies. And, if I want to leave my job or something, I mean, darling, I've already said that I want to go to France, live there for a year or something. Now, my living space, right? Being mindful of my living space was never something that I planned for, but I find myself evolving into that. I never used to be the sort of person who minded her spaces. I was mostly a functional girl. Like, if it works, It doesn't matter where you put it. If it works, great. But of course, I would want it to look nice. Like, I was mostly invested in buying nice, beautiful pieces. But if I have a table and a couch in my living room, that's it. Like, I don't mind. I never really minded not having anything else. But I find that I'm really, evolving away from that. So I just was like, I was never into aesthetics, ne? Like, I was never a plant person or a diffuser person. That was never my priority. But look at me now, buying diffusers and all that cost an arm and a leg. I figure it's nice for your overall well-being when your house smells good and has plants in it. And tell you what, do you know where my love for plants came from? From YouTube. Now, if you'll notice, I have a whole new background and I got a plant, and that's all it took for me to love plants. I love the woman I'm becoming. So these are things that I want to incorporate more into my budget moving forward. In my recent mentorship session with Boca Molf, I'll link her bio below, we talked about systems, right? They are important to set order in your life, especially if you're multi-talented, she said. And currently my year is basically divided into two. The first part is to buy equipment, and then the second half is to basically learn about that equipment and get comfortable using it and find other uses for it apart from YouTube. And so everything else is still haphazard a bit. So I think what I want to do is create a system that will allow for more self-introspection to then allow for clarity and direction. And that means consistently exercising for better thinking, having time in the mornings or evenings to meditate, read, and write. And of course, eating more consistently, doing things like meal preps and bulk cooking, because it's quite hard to cook every day when you live alone. These, I believe, will set me up for success and having more clarity concerning direction for my life.